Oh my gosh. Hey y'all. It is Dr. Khalida here, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Whole You podcast, right? Where culture meets wellness. I am so excited today because this Monday is the Monday of Thanksgiving week. And so we are all about to eat and eat again and eat again. And then eat again, and then maybe eat again. And that would be our business, so do not judge. But we are so excited as we're nearing the beginning of the holiday season. And I don't know about you, but I love the holiday season. But in addition to loving it, there are nuances around the holiday season for a lot of people, for a lot of reasons. And so we are going to talk about that on today. So before I hit our culture code, I am so excited because we have a guest with us today. I am not by myself. And so I'm going to allow her to introduce herself quickly. We're going to do this culture code together, and then we're going to dig all into her business so that we can find out who she is, because it's going to be amazing. I can already feel it. And so without further ado, and what does ado mean? Who knows what does ado mean? But without further ado, I have this beautiful woman sitting right here. Isn't she so beautiful, y'all? I am so happy and honored to be sharing space with you on today. You know how you know people, but then you don't intersect with people often, but there is a regard that you have for people that I'm even thinking now we need to do a better job of finding spaces to articulate that to one another, because we all have like people that we view as superstars, and we need to be a little more intentional to let them know. So let me tell you today, I think that you are a complete superstar. And so, again, I'm honored to be sharing space with you on today. So can you introduce yourself to our audience? Just let them know who you are, and then we'll get back to the details in a minute.
Yes. So I am Connie Gilmore.
Yes.
I'm the founder of Premature Widow, which is an organization I founded in 2015. For young widows, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure,
Yes.
and a whole lot of other things. But let me just say, the pleasure and the honor is absolutely all mine to even have gotten the call to come and to be in this beautiful space with this beautiful woman who I've known for a long time, as you said, but have never had the opportunity to share personal space with. And so I'm grateful to God for this opportunity tonight. And I'm just excited about what we're going to share.
I know. I'm excited as well. Okay, so family, you know what time it is. Boom. It is our culture code time. And so I wanted to do a culture code that's kind of adjacent, if you will, to what we're going to be talking about in this episode. And ironically, I did not have to search far to find something that I feel like relates. So one of the things that I want to highlight is that there are two artists that were very much a part of my childhood and my young adulthood musically who have transitioned. One of them we know is Angie Stone. And then just recently, D'Angelo. Y'all, now listen. Oh, y'all. I'm about to go into tongues about D'Angelo. I don't know if I should be convicted about that, but we're talking about back in the day, like Brown Sugar. Like we were all in love with D'Angelo. And so he has recently, unfortunately, transitioned. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about regarding this culture code is a picture that I saw online of his son in between both of his parents. And that image really struck me because I said, we know these people as artists and we appreciate their musical giftings, but they are people and they have family members. And I thought to myself, look at this young man who now does not have his mother or his father present in the earth. And so, one, we send all of the love and the compassion through the airwaves that we can send to you, young man. And because I know how God operates, there's a possibility that he could come across this.
Right.
And so we want to let you know that we are praying for you, that we are sending strength to you even right now. And we believe that God is able, and we're about to have a testimony of that, to carry you through even this. But I was thinking to myself, what is this Thanksgiving going to look like for him? What is this Christmas going to look like for him? Because as a clinical therapist, we know that we have what is called the first, right? The first. And I have a client now that I'm doing therapy with whose parent just recently passed away in June, actually. And so we're preparing in therapy now for what her and her family are going to do, because Thanksgiving is when family is frontal. So we're all moving around all throughout the year, but it is in the holidays that we start thinking about even the construct of family, who is here and who is no longer here. And so really quickly, before we get to the details of your story, what were your first like, even before we give them details? Do you remember what the first Thanksgiving, the first the first Valentine's Day, what were you feeling in your body when you got to those firsts?
Those firsts were immense pain.
Wow.
He passed away in June.
Yes, and this was
my late husband.
Your late husband.
Yeah, Minister Todd Gilmore.
Yes.
He passed away June 23rd of 2014. And so our anniversary was the first, well, actually not even the anniversary. Our daughter, my baby, was 6 when he passed, but her birthday was in July. She was turning 7.
Wow.
So her birthday, just, you just wake up and it's just, it's unbelievable. It's like it's in a dream. Like, am I going to wake up from this?
Jesus.
And then our wedding anniversary was September. And so, and I actually married him on my birthday.
Really?
And so I shared my birthday with our anniversary. And so I woke up that particular year on my birthday. And to be honest, not even really all that grateful for the fact that I woke up on my birthday.
Oh my goodness.
Because my life had changed in such a way that it was unrecognizable. And he always made such a big deal about birthdays and our anniversary. And then here I am and my family. You're surrounded by people who have best intentions, want to celebrate you, but it felt like I was in an empty room.
Now, listen, one, I want you guys to pay attention to the fact that Connie said it was like unbearable pain. I think it's important for us to understand when we're sharing space with individuals and they're experiencing these firsts, that we're cognizant of the fact that they could be physically present, but they are sitting or standing there in pain. And I think that that's very important to acknowledge it, to be aware of it, to be mindful of it. And in my mind, as a clinician, to not try to force them out of that place to make you feel more comfortable. One of the things that I talk about all the time, I'm about to get stirred, is even this weekend I was in Detroit and I was doing this whole emotional health spirituality session, and people are crying all over the room. And so of course, because people are crying, someone with the best of intentions grabs that wonderful tissue box that I hate sometimes and starts it was 8 boxes of tissues everywhere. And as the people were crying, which I always say tears are a shower for the soul, you can see them take the tissue, and one woman started going like this with the tissue. So you're seeing what I call an interruption in the grieving and that needs to happen in their soul. And so I say that to say, when you're sharing space with people who are experiencing their first, and my thing is that you need to honor the fact that they even trusted you enough to either show up at your shindig or allow you to come into their space in such a state of vulnerability that you have to not force them to come out of their reality so that, watch it, you don't have to meet them in theirs. Because what happens is that when we sit next to raw emotion,
That's right.
what it does is causes us to think about the raw emotions that we have been repressing. So with that being said, can you share with those that are watching, what can we do when we are sharing space with people that are experiencing the first? If you all show up at something, how should we be posturing ourselves? What, if anything, should we say, or should we just keep quiet and not say anything at all? What should we do so that we don't get on y'all's very last nerve?
So one of the things I've always said on this journey is that there is ministry in presence.
Yes.
So showing up, just showing up. You know, I can still remember the people who showed up when I lost my late husband. And one of the young ladies, she just sat there. She didn't know my family. She was a friend of mine. She just sat there. And I remember her. I don't remember everything.
Yes.
But I remember her just being there. She didn't try to. And a lot of times, you know, people they want to fix you, right?
Yes.
So, oh, you're crying, you're upset, you're hurting. So let me do something. Let me say something.
Yes.
And typically that thing is the wrong thing, right?
Yikes.
And so we get a lot of, oh, he's in a better place. And, oh, you're going, oh, I've heard, oh, you're such a beautiful girl. You'll get married again. And no, I've heard it all. And I mean, and these are the saints in most cases.
Yes.
But that's another conversation for another day.
Yes.
But you know, people fail to realize that this is a real space, right? This is real pain. It's raw, and it has no place to go. And so what happens is, I remember it internalizing in my body.
Wow.
By way of anxiety attacks. You know, I went to the hospital repeatedly thinking I was having a heart attack. I went to his cardiologist because I was sure I was having a heart attack. He had to say to me, Miss Gilmore, your husband's health issues aren't your health issues. You're not having a heart attack.
That is so powerful.
But I just knew that that I had to be having a heart attack. You know, but it internalizes in your body with no place to go. And it wasn't until I actually started journaling it out, because I had to get it out. It needs some place to go.
Yes.
And so if there's something that you want to do for a person, I would say be there for them.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know, just encourage them in a way. Like, my thing is, show up at the house with food, you know, because we're not going to ask you. People always say, call me if you need anything. I'm never going to call you.
Wow.
Never going to call you.
We have to pause. I've never thought about that. Oh, this is convicting me in a lot of really good ways, because a lot of times we don't know what to do. We don't want to intrude. And so we will sit back and think, I will wait for them to say something to me.
And it's not going to happen.
It's not
going to happen. I'm never going to call you. And if you think about it, the pain and especially during the beginning, the pain that I was in, I barely know my own name, let alone your phone number.
Wow.
how am I going to call you? So if you want to, I've made a habit of the widows that I support, I just show up. I may send a message to a family member. What do the kids like to eat? I take that over. You show up. You take flowers. You drop some. Even if they don't want to open the door, you put groceries on the door. You send something, because they're not going to call. No person in the heart of pain and grief is going to pick up the phone and say, Dr. Kalita, I need something to eat today. He or she is not going to do it. It's not going to do it.
If you don't say anything else on this episode, that is transformational. Then I have my team here with me. And remember yesterday I said to you, should I send a message or should... But does that make sense? I hear underneath your voice something when you said just now, I'm not going to call. I'm not going to call you. And I'm so deeply convicted because the thought that I would call you lends to an insensitivity that I did not have, Connie, until you just gave me this revelation.
And you know, before I got in this space, I was guilty of it too. Call me if you need me. Never gonna call you.
And then what's wild is that because we're sick. And so what's wild is that we will possibly see images or find out that other people have been present or we're at an XYZ, and because we're sick, we will say they didn't call me, they didn't trust to share, not even realizing I didn't call the people that are in the picture that you stumbled upon. Our selfishness.
Yes.
We want to repent to all grieving people. So listen, family, show up. You speak up. I love that Connie just said, if they don't answer, this is so good to me. That doesn't mean that you still don't go to Safeway and pick up a couple of things and leave it at the door and send a message, just left some things at the door for you, and do not care whether you get a response.
That's it right there.
So good. Why are you making somebody else's experience about you?
But that's what we do.
That's what we do. Connie, we could benedict. We could just go ahead and close this episode out.
That's what we do. And this whole process of grieving and growing and healing, a lot of times, a lot of it is predicated on what other people think and how other people feel. And for so long, you mentioned it earlier, I've said this, I said it at a gala a few years ago in front of a room full of widows, that I made them promise me that you will not allow other people to keep you in a place of suffering to make them comfortable.
Wow.
Because a lot of times our family, our friends, once you get to a place, they're comfortable with you in that place. Right?
Wow.
They're comfortable with you kind of being sad, but the moment you get a little
you make
smile,
a turn, really?
Oh yeah, because it makes them uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable. Don't you dare go on it. Don't let anybody see you out and you look like you're having a good time and you're happy, because then that means you're all right.
And now that's receiving you in a different, it's almost like we are not well. Y'all, we're not, that's why we're doing this pod. We're not well. I feel so convicted in all of the right ways, and I just want to literally go on a rooftop and scream this to everyone, that people's lives are not about you, and that they do not have to make an announcement, send you an email to let you know every time they make a turn one way or the other. Listen, okay, so let's just go into the reason why Connie has dropped all of these gems. She's not telling us what she heard. She's telling us what she knows. So we have to back up because I want all the information. She shared with you all that she is the founder of what I think is the most beautifully profound name that she could have used for her organization, her ministry, if you will, which is called Premature Widow. It's not the widow part. It's that word premature. And how bold was it for you to utilize? Do you understand how audacious it was, especially because you're a woman of faith, for you to have chosen that word and to stand on that word premature boldly? So we need all the information. We're going to honor the life of your first husband. So can you tell us a little bit about him and why you thought that he was the bomb, hence you took his last name? Like, why did you think he was cute? Like, what was the feels?
So I met him when I was 11 years old
What?
in church.
Look at
His
that.
father was my pastor for my family. So
Really?
we grew up in church together.
Did
We
not
did
know
all
that.
things. We did vacation Bible school and church trips and all the things together as friends.
Look at that.
And I am 2 years older than he is, and so than he was. And so he asked me in about 10th grade. I had already graduated, so I really thought I was grown.
Yeah.
I had a little boyfriend.
Exactly.
all the
Exactly.
things. And he asked me to go to prom with him. And I'm like,
Oh.
first of all, that's in 2 years.
Oh, so sweet.
You don't know that. And he was like, I do. So by the time he asked me,
So sweet.
I'm like, no. My mother was like, oh yeah, you go.
Really?
Oh no, you go. It's the pastor's son.
Oh,
You don't
I
get to do
forgot
that.
that part.
Uh-huh.
You must go.
Oh no, you. Oh no,
okay.
no. Oh no, she
I'm
was
tracking.
Real clear.
I'm tracking.
Oh no, you're go. I said, oh, I'm not. Oh no, you're going.
I love this.
Okay, so I did, but so we went to the prom. We've always been really good friends, church friends,
Yeah.
right? And so after the prom, that was just that. He dated other people. I dated other people, but we remained really, really close friends. And so life took a turn for me. You know, I thought I was grown. I left the church. I went to another church. I had my son. You know, it was just different things that had gone on.
Yeah.
And so church, I don't know, was something. But I was in a deep state of prayer because I wanted something different for my life around that time.
Wow.
And I was about 23 years old. And so I remember it was right before the beginning of the new year. I had a piece of paper, it was a yellow piece of paper, and I wrote on that paper everything that I wanted God to do for me in the new year. A friend of mine had told me that she does that every year.
Wow.
And so at the end of that year, she looks at that paper and checks off all the things that God has done.
Wow.
So I wrote all these things down, that what I wanted for my children and I, you know, all the things. And I just folded it up, put it in a wallet, went on about my business. And so church homecoming was coming up. And I called and left a message because we didn't have, that was before cell phones and all that. So I left a message at the church, and he called. It took a couple of days, and he called back. So I was living home with my mom. I had my bedroom in the basement. Typically, anything after 10 o'clock, anybody call me, call her back.
Yeah.
Call her tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, she came all the way from the top floor,
Love
all the
your
way to the
mother.
bottom,
I love it.
and told me he was on the phone.
Yes. This call can
This
come
call
through.
can
Yes,
come
it can.
through,
Yeah.
right?
Huh?
So he's like, come to homecoming service. You know, I was like, no. And long story short, I went to homecoming. He saw me. He hadn't seen me in a couple of years. He's like, oh my God, you look phenomenal. And that was September. He asked me to marry him in January.
Are you serious?
And we stayed engaged for 18 months.
Wow.
And when I always say he did so much more than change my last name. He changed my life.
Jesus.
He absolutely changed my life. And we did ministry together. We grew the ministry at the church from nothing to something. There were no youth. We had all youth coming in all through the community, doing all the things. You know, I'm with him. He was preaching all over. I mean, just doing so much work underneath his dad. And, you know, I often say, I've asked God, I'm like, we did all the things. We went to the hospital. We visited the people. I watched you heal people, but you didn't heal them. But that's another part of the whole story.
Yes.
And so we had this beautiful wedding, and it was all these people. I mean, first of all, I'm marrying the pastor's baby son.
Oh my goodness.
Baby child. So it was a sign-up sheet in the vestibule.
Are you serious?
For the reception, yes.
I am loving this.
So when the church clerk would get up and give the announcements, so this old church, right? This
Yes,
old Baptist church.
absolutely.
Yes. And in the vestibule, there's a sign-up sheet for Minister Todd and Connie's wedding to sign up in the vestibule.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't have options?
No.
No, that wasn't an
No,
option.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Mm-hmm. Great.
No.
I love that.
But it was just a wonderful, we were young. I was 27, he was 25. And he always knew he wanted to be married. He told me as a teenager that God told him I was going to be his wife.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I was like, God didn't tell me that. I didn't get it.
That's hilarious.
He,
But look at what the
look
man
what
of God
did.
knew. Look at
He
that.
knew. And so we did a lot of things early that a lot of people hadn't done, like, buying a big house and all the things. But
Nice.
he had often told me that he would not live to be an old man.
Really?
Hmm. Hmm.
And when he would say that, what would you think?
I brushed it off. Like, why would you
Yes.
say that? Why? But he always said little things, about that. We could be riding. I remember we would go to Annapolis Mall, the back way down Central Avenue, and there's
Yes.
a really nice, quaint cemetery to the left in Davidsonville. And we ride by, and he say, "When I die, I'm going over there." And I'm like, first of all, there are no people over there look like us. You're not going over there.
Yes.
But these are the things. So as time went on, and when things shifted, I started remembering all these things
Amazing.
that this man was saying to me, and I'm like, he did. He told me. He said, "I'm not gonna live to be an old man." And I'm like, why would you say that?
Yes.
But we had a wonderful, wonderful life, and when I say he treated me like royalty,
Really?
royalty, but his father treated his mother like royalty.
So he did what he
He did
saw.
what he saw. He did absolutely what he saw. And I was really the envy of most people, especially in my age group,
Yes, I'm
because
sure.
men that age
They don't
didn't
know.
know.
And what's powerful about what you're saying is that they don't know because they haven't
They
seen it.
haven't seen it.
And that's the reason why it's so important for men to be involved in the lives of their
That's
children,
right.
because we're holding men and even women
Women
responsible for doing what they have
have
not
not seen. That's
seen.
it.
Okay, so at what juncture of your marriage, how many years when your husband got sick?
So he started getting sick probably about year 8,
Year 8.
maybe.
Okay.
Because it was year 7 when we had our daughter.
Okay.
So yeah, around year 8 or 9
Okay.
maybe, just gradually little things, and
Yeah.
then closer to year 10, 11, it started to be hospitalization, 3 or 4
Yes.
days, come
Yes.
home,
Yeah.
get medicine, do the things,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then by 2013 things were really really getting bad with
Wow.
his health and his kidney, and feet were swelling. His
Yes.
mobility, he wasn't able to do the things he could used to do in church and all the things. And so life was really different, because at that point, this was before death, I was a caregiver.
Look at that.
I was a caregiver. So I had a full-time job. The youngest was in maybe kindergarten or pre-K at that time. Had a son in high school and a sick husband at home.
Jesus.
And so I had to care. I was his caregiver, and it was really really challenging. And then you see, we're young still, so we're a
Yes.
young couple trying to
Yes.
navigate all these different waters. He's getting very frustrated, of course,
I'm sure.
because life as he knows it is
I
changing right before his
know. I
eyes.
know.
And and so and to be honest, when people get in that space, they get they're not happy people. They're
No,
not
not
nice
at all.
people.
Not
if,
at
if
all.
and so
Yeah.
you have to figure out how to navigate that too, to prevent
Yes.
friction in the marriage and
Absolutely.
all the things. And
Absolutely.
then I get resentful because I'm like, okay,
Absolutely.
I'm young, I'm this, we can't do
Exactly.
this, we can't do that, we can't
Exactly.
travel.
It
It
will
will wear
literally
on you.
turn your life
Yes,
upside
it
down.
absolutely, absolutely. And so by the time we got to January, well, late 2013, he was really sick. He threw me a 40th birthday party, surprise. Had everybody there in our yard, huge party, crabs. It was a crab feast. He had everything. My cake was a bushel of crabs. Like everything was,
Really?
because that's my favorite thing.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I remember getting out the car in complete surprise. Family from out of town. He had found friends off Facebook that I hadn't seen in 20 years. I mean, it was
Really?
amazing. And so I remember the first thing saying to him was, "Why would you, I'm crying? Like, why would you do this? You're sick," because he was already sick.
That's
And so my
amazing.
mother-in-law told me, she said he was adamant, and he said, "I have to do it." He said, "I'd be less than a husband if I didn't throw her a 40th birthday party, and I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to celebrate her birthday again."
I
And he never
can't.
did. That was the last
Oh,
one.
I can't.
So that was September, and then things were just, so by January, I'm like, okay, things were getting worse. He wasn't really moving out of the bedroom. I'm like, you got to go to hospital. You got to go to hospital. And I was able to get him out the hospital. My nephew came, helped me get him out. He went in January. He never came back home. He died in June.
Are
So
you serious?
From January to June, hospital, which was at some point, maybe 2 or 3 months in, he'd get better and go
Yeah.
to rehab. But then at rehab,
Yes.
he'd relapse and end up back in the hospital. So never really got back home. And so he was in Baltimore. We lived in Upper Marlboro. I went to the hospital every single day.
Jesus.
So I had a whole routine. I go take the kids to school. I go home. I
Because
get
you're
dressed.
still a mom.
Go home, get dressed, go to the hospital, stay all day long. The last thing we do was watch Family Feud at 7 o'clock and eat dinner together. I go home to my mother's house. My mother had the kids. Stay at my mother's. Get them to school. Get up, do the thing. The same thing again. When the weather was bad, I got a hotel room up there because I never wanted them to call me or he need me and I couldn't get there. So my mother-in-law would say things like, and she said this at the funeral, she'd say, well, it's going to snow tomorrow. Don't go. He's all right. And she said, then I called him, and there she is in the room. She said she went rain, snow, sleet, or shine. She said that at the service. I never wanted him to look for me.
Jesus.
And I wasn't there. Then in between that, I'm still going to hair salon because he's sick, but he's up.
Yes.
So he's still paying the bills. He's still making
Yes.
stuff happen. But I'm still got to be his wife. So when I walk in there, I want you to see, because I don't want you to think that I'm taking on what you're taking
Oh
on.
my goodness.
So I need to still look good for him.
Oh
And
my
I need to be able to
goodness.
still put a smile on his face because I want him to come home. So I'm still going to the salon. I remember one time my stylist, I broke down. She got the oil. She was praying for me in the chair because I needed strength for the journey.
Jesus.
But I was still doing all these things and still showing up, every day. Doctors, one day it's up, one day it's down. This is happening. They find all these things, dialysis and this
Yes.
and that. It was such
Really quickly,
a
have
journey.
you heard from our other?
She literally, as soon as you said that, my phone.
Okay, great, perfect. Keep going.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster.
Okay.
A roller coaster of better,
Okay.
not better. But the plan was he was going to come home.
Of course, and we're
so-
standing in
and
faith
we're
for
standing in
that.
faith for that.
Absolutely.
And so he started to progress, and he made plans and what we're going to do when he gets home and all these things. And after all of that, none of the things that actually put him in the hospital is what took him. He got
Are you
sepsis in the hospital and went in the septic shock.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
So that's it. That shut his organs down. From a Sunday, it was Father's Day. He spiked a fever on Father's Day, and by that following Sunday, he really died that Monday. But yeah, it was within a week. He never talked to me again after. That was Sunday. Wednesday was the last time he said something to me.
So you were totally not expecting this turn.
No. He was not sick unto death.
Okay. I need a minute. I didn't know that. That adds another layer of really, God?
Really, God.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Okay, when your husband passed, what did that feel like inside your body?
Ooh. So, yeah, it was definitely out of body experience. I can't even put into words. It just felt like, well, for one, I know for sure part of me died that day that I'll never get back. Mm-mm. She'll never come back. She went with him. I had to. And so I was there. I was laying on his chest when he took his last.
Really?
Up to the heart stopped. I was right there. And at one point I had to say, because he was fighting.
I'm sure.
And I said, it's okay. You can go. I'm going to be okay. Because I just laid there and it just, until his last heartbeat. And my heart never beat the same again. And it won't. And I have a wonderful new husband.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. But yes. It's just a reality.
It's a
You
reality.
saying that makes me think of a post that he put up. So we're going to talk about all of that. So now you do a celebration of his life.
Yes.
And then, so now you're starting to walk through, again, like you said, a life that is foreign to
Completely
you.
foreign. Completely foreign. Even at this point in my life, because we've known each other for so long.
Yes.
Like I've never gone this long without him being in my life in some capacity.
Exactly, because you were friends. Exactly. So existing in the world with him being physically absent is a world that you literally do not know.
Do not know. Do not know.
So you have to start to, what I call clinically, carve a new reality.
Absolutely.
Not a continuation. No. We have to start something completely new.
Completely new. There were times I looked in the mirror and I was unrecognizable. I didn't recognize myself because the person I saw was that person, but internally I'm not that person anymore.
So
it made me have to change things about myself. My hair, like I felt like I gotta change. I changed everything around me. I moved. I got all new furniture. Had changed my hair. Like I had to reinvent myself 100%.
That is so powerful. It's interesting to me because I also feel like there's a holiness in that, in that everything, Ecclesiastes says that to everything there is a season. And it's almost like God was encapsulating the power and the beauty of what that was, and closed it down, and then now is erecting something new.
But he said he would in Isaiah.
Wait, don't
okay,
see.
Right.
Okay, now.
He said, I will not cause pain without allowing something new to be born. I stood on that. He promised me that. And so I had to stand on. I had to have something. Because people left.
Really? Tell me more.
People left.
Okay, see, this is the part. See, why did they leave?
Because that's what they do.
Tell us more.
So after the repast, right, and the food is gone and all the things, the phone eventually stops ringing. Your house is full of people. The phone's ringing all the time. Let me know if you need anything. And then eventually it goes silent. And people, you might have your select.
Yes.
But all the people that said, I'm talking about people that were his best friends. We got it from here. We got you. People that were supposed to be there for my children. My circle now consists of none of those people.
Oh, okay.
They go. And I was even told by one of those people that being around us made them sad. Here we go. Can we go back to being uncomfortable? It's about you now, though, right? So
we are not well.
We're not well.
We're not well. We are not well. How did you come to acceptance of that?
Oh, that's hard. It's been hard. I still wrestle with that. I still have to pray because I still see some of these people.
I appreciate your honesty.
I still see some of these people in churches and the like. And so they go left, I go right. Because that's the only way I can deal with it, is if I don't deal with it. Because if I ever get approached and have to deal with it, then you're gonna then have to hear
absolutely
my heart.
And I'm going to give you the truth of it. And you're definitely not going to be able to take that truth because you weren't able to take the first truth.
No, they disappear. They disappear. I have I had two friends that were there with me when he passed away. They're still my closest. They're two of my closest friends.
Good.
And of course my family, of course the Jones.
Yes,
people
yes,
like that.
yes.
But the vast majority of them, they couldn't tell you the last time they talked to me, and I them.
Okay.
My mother-in-law calls them fair weather friends. What happens is when your husband passes away, a lot of times you find that you're friends together. they were his, they were,
Yes,
they
yes,
weren't my
yes.
friends.
Yes, yes, yes. And you know what also happens in that, even separate from death, is divorce.
Correct. I've
Which
heard
you
that.
know, divorce is literally right
Right
under
underneath.
death, because it is
It's
a
a
death.
right.
And a lot of times you will find out the authenticity of your relationships.
That's right.
I do want to say this though, before I shift into this organization and then this last season before we're done. I want to say something, and I mean this, and we're definitely going to clip this up. To everyone that is watching me, if you don't have the capacity to be someone's friend, stop being their friend. Because the world is about to become so complex. Robots are going to be arriving. They're going to be moving amongst us. We're going to have vehicles that you're going to be able to eject yourself out and start flying around. The magnitude of the speed of change that we're about to experience over the next decade, mark my words, we're not going to have time to be sharing space with people that cannot go the distance with us. Now, let me also say this as a warning. If you are not in therapy and you think that there are things about you or your past that could benefit from isolated time to process your past pain and to give you some tools to help you understand your emotions, which will then help you to coexist in the realm of other people's emotions. If you don't get a handle on that now, you will forfeit relationships, and it will impact the height of you being able to reach the destiny that God has for you. And I want you to mark my words. Now, the reason why I'm holding you accountable to this after you've heard this is because you have heard this. And God only holds us accountable to that which we have heard. But let this be an example. For some of you all, this conversation is conviction and confirmation at the same time to what God has already been saying to you, that he will no longer in this next season allow you to walk with someone that you don't plan on walking with. Because the Bible says that a brother is born for adversity, not for fun town. And so let this be your warning that God is solidifying the strength of relationships in this hour so that we can go the distance. And I'm not even asking you to go back and apologize. I'm asking you to move forward with certainty. I feel like saying that again. Don't go back and apologize. They're not going to want to hear it. What you can do, however, is to make sure that you go forward with certainty. You are such a rock star, superstar, Power Ranger, because you have this grace that is literally all over you right now, that even though that has been difficult, I can see on you that there is a grace for accepting that people were not able to do what they did not have the capacity to do, but also a confidence in who you are, that you knew you still deserved it. So I will let you live, but you can't come circle back. Oh, and I can see it. It's in your bun. It's in your braid bun. I can.
And I don't mean you no harm.
Listen.
I want you to eat.
I do. I want you to
can't eat at my
prosper,
table.
but you can't. Not over here. Oh, I would love it if we could go eat crabs
Yeah.
together in the
Yes.
future, because I feel like we are of the same ilk.
Yeah.
It's what I'm feeling in my spirit right now. So as a result of what you went through, a ministry was birthed.
Correct.
Because see, that happens.
That's
That happens. So where did Premature Widow come from, and why, as a woman of faith, did you think that you could put that word premature in the front?
So Premature Widow actually came from, so first of all,
Because when we think widow, we think old
oh
lady.
yeah, my mother, my grandmother.
Yes.
That's all widows didn't look like me.
That's, see,
Widows didn't look like me. And this was 11 years ago, me.
look at that.
They
Yeah.
didn't look like me.
Yeah.
And when I looked for help,
Look at
I
that.
couldn't find anything that,
That
looked,
looked
like
like
me. Every place I found was either they were older,
Yes.
had 30 plus years of marriage,
Yes.
and they, because again, to everything there's a season,
Absolutely.
right? So there's a natural life cycle
Absolutely.
that's absolutely going to take place. We get that.
Exactly.
Not at 38, we don't get it.
That's right.
With a 6-year-old,
Mm.
no, there was no blueprint for that, and so people didn't look like me. And the other places I found, they
Look at that.
they were old and
Look
not
at
of the
that.
same. And so we had nothing in common. And people tried to refer me to different places, grief share and this and that. And some people do really well at grief share.
Yeah.
Grief share just didn't speak to me, because at grief share or places and I'll go as far as saying the church didn't help me.
Yes.
They were not
Yeah,
prepared.
we're not equipped.
They were not equipped to
Yeah,
help me.
yeah.
They would tell me to go to the bereavement group. Well, everybody they grieving their puppy, their aunt,
Exactly.
their grandmama.
Exactly.
all
This
that.
is not the same.
thing. And then they want me to go to the singles ministry. I'm not single. Huh?
Wow. Wow. Did you just say I'm not single? I have never thought about that, not 1 second in my life. I might have told you to go to the single. I have never thought about that. And it's also the way you say it, Connie. Connie said, I'm not single. Wow. This is
widowed.
what I'm talking about.
But we don't talk about that. We talk about every other woman in the church. The promiscuous woman, divorced woman, the married, we don't talk. I have been in church all my life. And I can count on one hand how many times I heard the preacher say widow over the pulpit.
I don't think I've ever heard. I'm not sure if I've heard it once.
We don't talk about the widow.
I am so sorry.
We don't talk about the widow. And so because of that, then you come to church and you come to a place that's supposed to be the hospital, right?
Yes.
'Cause
for
I'm hurting
everybody.
for everybody.
And yours isn't even lifted as they sweep the room.
Sweep the room. Because guess what? You walk in, you look like me. I got a 6-year-old. Guess what they assume? I'm a single mother.
Yeah.
I'm crying out because I've either been
Connie,
beaten,
we're sorry. We are sorry. Connie, we are sorry, okay? We are sorry. We don't know what we're doing. So you birthed what you
I
needed.
Not knowing that it was going to be what so many other people needed. And so many women that have come through Premature Widow came, and one of the things they said was they could not find what they needed even in their church. So this ministry was what they needed that they couldn't get. The church, they're not equipped. So that's why part of this ministry, I go to churches and I talk about it. And I help them, because we need widows ministry.
Oh my goodness.
We need the ministry specifically, because I would do things like, so one of the first things my daughter said to me at 6 years old when she went back to school was, now, I'm not like other children. Everybody else has their dad. So it was important for me to put her around other children who had lost their father, because I needed her to see you're not the only one. There is support for you just like there's support for me. And so as the women came in, the children came in. And so they were able to connect in ways that I couldn't necessarily connect with them. They needed to see somebody else. Oh, she lost her. I remember probably about 3rd grade, my daughter coming home and saying, oh, such and such, he lost his dad. I gave his mom your phone number. This was at 8 or 9 years old.
Listen, how many years has Premature Widow been in existence?
10 in November.
10. Okay, listen. I'm not even going to wait till we're done with this episode. I am about to start praying that God will put your name in the wind in a way that has never even been seen heretofore. It is my prayer that you begin to get called from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and not just around this nation, but around the globe. It is my prayer that it would be African Americans, our Caucasian brothers and sisters, the Latino church, Asian churches, and that when I said that things are about to shift in the next 10 years, I declare that there's going to be a revolution of churches being able to see those that have been unseen, and you are going to be the vessel to open up the door. That in the next 10 years, that statistic of never, Daniel, I've been in church my entire life, and I have never heard a pastor mention the word widow. While we're still talking, I'm tracing back in my mind to see if I can make that statement legitimately, and I can legitimately say that. And that is a problem to the heart of God. And so I repent on behalf of pastors that it was a blind spot. It was a blind spot, especially if we don't have elderly widows in our demographic. And I declare they're gonna come calling you, woman of God, and you're going to allow them to see what they're not seeing. It's going to be amazing as I watch this unfold. I apologize to you and every other young widow for the fact that we have not seen you as the separate entity that you are. And I'm thinking about our scriptures about fasting. Is this not the fast that I have called you to? And the Lord begins to name the widow. Widows are very important to God, but theologically, while I'm sitting here, when I see that word, my mind goes into translating that word in the text into old. My mind, when I see that word in scripture, connects to a construct of something being geriatric. I'm not even connecting the word, Connie, to someone who's lost a spouse. You have a lot of work to do because we're not seeing the word based on its definition, so that the need is hidden, and you're about to walk us into the marvelous light. Before we end, and I'm trying to stay in English, and I want to applaud myself for the fact that I have stayed in English during this interview. Can you please, before we close, you're gonna be busy. My understanding is that you have a new husband, that you have a new boo. My understanding is that it's a vibe. That's my understanding. What has God, did he keep to his word? Did he do what he has said?
Listen.
And we gonna try to stay. We help God. Please, Lord.
He gave me more than I knew to pray for.
Okay, see. All right.
There were certain things I thought I knew. He gave me more in Chip than I knew to pray for.
Your husband's name is Chip.
His name is Chip.
Can we, y'all, clap for Chip? Clap for Chip. Can we? Chip is more than you knew to ask for in a person.
He really is. Because he came with, and I knew that God sent him because he was so intentional and personal about not me, not the physical me. He studied my grief. He studied widowhood.
Wait, he studied it?
He studied it. He was online. He studied. When I say he studied widowhood, he studied it. He studied it to the point
I'm about
that
to
he
lose it.
knew how to serve me in that capacity.
I'm about to lose it.
He had on his calendar right now is June 23rd. That's the day my husband passed away. He will book nothing. You could call him right now and offer him all you want to. He's not coming because he's going to be with me on June 23rd because that's the day I lost my late husband.
Because if he loves you, he loves
And
what
that's
you.
what he said. He said, what concerns you concerns me.
Where did you meet this man named Chip? Why do you keep meeting wonderful men? And some, after you finish changing the
That's
language
enough.
of the church, perhaps you need to start a Find an Amazing Man ministry. Where did Chip come from?
So, ironically, I knew of Chip.
You always see this. The thing
See,
you be
that's-
knowing
oh,
of
you-
them.
mhm.
Okay,
I knew of
wait,
him.
stop. I'm so sorry. Why did you come in here with this churchy spirit?
I know.
I hear the Lord saying right now, some of you all already know your spouse. Mark that. I hear him saying some of you already know your spouse. So you need to pay attention. Now, what were you saying? What had happened?
So I had never met him, but I
Okay.
knew of him because at one point I used to do events.
Okay.
So, and he's a professional photographer. So I was
Yes.
following him, his work.
Yes.
And one particular day, during COVID, during COVID,
Oh, yes.
everybody just
Uh-huh.
chilling.
Yes.
He went on his stories on Instagram talking about dreaming big. And one of the things I always said was, after Todd, that's my late husband, passed, I stopped dreaming
Oh my goodness.
because he was the dreamer.
Oh my goodness.
And so once he died, I'm like, dream of what?
Mm.
And so he was talking about dreaming big and all this, and I was like, oh my goodness, thank you so much for that. And I guess he was like, wait, who's this? And then he like slid up in my DM, and
Chip went in the
he
DMs.
he
Chip
literally
went in the
came in my
DMs.
DM. And he was divorced,
Wow.
and there was nothing, we were just friends, but he, out the gate, he just treated me so well. And as he wanted to, I mean, we talked to 3-4 in the morning just about me, his illness, what happened, all the things he wanted to know. He really wanted to know. And it was probably 3 or 4 months in, maybe a little more. We had our first date in like February.
Wow.
So by June, when it was time for me to go to cemetery,
Yes.
he said, I'd like to go with you. And I'm like, whoa. Now.
Yeah, that's a big
Now,
deal.
now, sir.
All right,
And
Chip.
so I said, no, that's fine. I'm fine. He was like, no, just let me take you. And I thought to myself, now, Jesus.
Because that is Chip coming into a level of intimacy.
Yes.
That's very intimate.
That's a
You
sacred
going.
space.
That's
I
yes.
protected that.
Absolutely.
But let me tell you what he did. He drove me there. I get out the car, I have my flowers, I do my thing. He never left. He got out the car and stood at the back of the car. Never moved. Never came up, never followed me, nothing. So by the time I come back to the car, I'm visibly up, whatever. I'm having my emotions.
Yes.
An embrace. Got back in the car. And from that day, he never forgot. Every year from that point on. And then eventually, I think about right after we were engaged, he then went. And when I walked off, he stayed. Now, what conversation he had at the grave, I don't know.
Okay, Connie, listen, you gonna have to get out of here because don't nobody have time to be fooling around with you. When we first started this podcast, what did I say, Danielle? I said, there's this woman named, before we started this podcast, you have been in my heart since before we started this podcast.
I never knew that.
So Chip asked you to be his wife, and your heart was open.
So by the time, I was probably in about year 7, but I was at a place where I wasn't really sure what God was going to do.
Wow.
But I had already told God, I said, if I don't get married again, because I believe that, I'm like, well, some people, I have friends that are still single, never been married, right? I had this wonderful man who I loved to death. I carried out my vows. I did everything God asked me to do.
Yes.
And so I said, well, God, if it's not my turn again, and you want to give my turn to somebody who's looking for a turn, I'll accept that.
Oh my
And so I
goodness.
had got kind of set in my ways, so I was on my
Yes, you were
own. You know,
settled and
everything was
content.
bling and
Yeah.
all in the house, no more
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
masculinity.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. There's a vibe
there's
to
a vibe
that.
to that too, right? Because once you
Absolutely.
get to that place where you can actually enjoy it and then be grateful for that space, but
Exactly.
then realizing that grief and gratitude can coexist.
Yes, they
So
can.
just because I'm in this space doesn't mean I'm not still
That's
grieving.
so good.
And so once he came along, it was like,
Yeah.
maybe not,
Yeah.
maybe it's a good time, not a long time.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
just, he was
yeah.
taking me out and making
Yeah.
reservations and just doing all the things. And I was
Yeah.
like, man. And then when he wasn't necessarily, because at one point I'm like, I think maybe this is not the right mix for us, right?
Gotcha.
Because this photography world, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing,
Gotcha.
right? It's a lot going on.
Yes.
Women and this,
Yes.
and
I'm
traveling,
married to a musician.
and
You
yeah,
know, I
yeah, 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 yeah,
understand.
yeah. And so
Yes.
I said, I've been through a whole lot of things,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm not.
And
Yeah.
what I'm not,
Yeah. I know
and
that's
I'm
right.
clear about what I'm not going to do.
Listen.
But what I did tell him, and he says that we've done many a podcast,
I'm sure.
and I said, but I am a wife.
Look at that.
I'm not a long-term girlfriend.
Look at
I'm a
that.
wife. Now, I'm not saying I'm your wife.
Yeah, but I know.
But I know I'm a wife.
I know I
Now,
have the
whether I
wife
die
DNA.
Gilmore's wife,
Exactly.
I'm fine too.
Exactly.
But I am a wife.
Exactly.
And so I made that perfectly clear way in the beginning.
Really?
And so when things started to get serious and he started
Yeah.
to develop all these feelings, but then he still, the devil was still
Yeah,
pulling him
yeah,
to the world,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm like, well, how about this?
Yeah.
You just go. And he's like,
Yes.
mm-mm. So within 24 hours, he had booked us relationship counseling, 8-week session. We went for the first session. When I say the counselor whooped him,
Really?
and I said, "Oh, we never coming back here."
Wow.
Because in my head, I'm like, no grown man
Yeah.
is going to take a whooping from another grown man that you don't even know.
I know.
And next thing you know, he's like, "Did you do your homework?"
Okay.
And we went.
No,
and I was
Connie.
like, "Oh,
Okay. Listen.
oh," and that changed the trajectory. That is how we went from there to here.
And you guys got engaged
We got engaged probably maybe 6 or 7 months after that.
at the Joneses' house.
At the Jones house, we were supposed to be. I was told we were having Super Bowl.
Shout
We
out
were
to
gonna
the
bring.
Jones.
Shout out to the Jones.
Yeah.
We've been planning it for weeks. I'm bringing the chicken.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she making all the things and all
Yeah.
the things. And so we went to church and we left there. We were going to brunch and it's raining and we get
Yeah.
down there and it was like, ironically, at the place for the brunch, there's this flower truck outside, like one of those old time trucks and the ladies
Yeah.
making these flowers.
Yeah.
So he buys me these flowers, but that's nothing new. He does it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So we get to the Jones and we don't turn to the chicken place. And I'm like, we got to get the chicken. And he's like, oh, I'm going to just drop you off and I'll go back and get it because it's raining. I said, oh, okay. So we pull up in the driveway. I go in and we get to the door. And as soon as we hit the door, I hear, it's the song that I love. It's India Ari and Robert Glasper.
I know that song.
Yes, it starts to play.
Uh-uh.
And I see this light from a camera. And he goes, this is it, babe. This is your proposal. And I walk in, everybody's there. My mama, my children, everybody's there.
Okay, listen, a couple things. One, Connie's going to have to come back just because. Also, I don't need any new friends, but I do need a Connie. I said, so I'm gonna talk to Connie about that when we wrap. Let me say a couple of things. One, I definitely want you to come back.
Yes, I would love to.
Number two, I want you to have the last word to speak to any premature widow that might see this. But I do want, it's so many things that I want to say. I want to thank you for the way that you have walked out not just your faith, but womanhood. I don't meet a lot of women. I meet a lot of older girls. And I'm really grateful to have been able to sit here and to feel the strength and the beauty of your womanhood. So everything that you have done, Connie, to be the woman that you are, I want to bestow double honor upon your womanhood and the essence of your existence. And I want to say these words to you because I need you to be able to see how incredibly, robustly, powerfully beautiful you are. Say some last words to a woman whose world has been turned upside down, because I believe that this episode is going to take on legs now and in the future in ways that we can't quantify right now.
So, before I say that, let me just say this to you. Especially once I got engaged and got married, there was an assumption in the world that I would no longer do this because I'm married now. And so I wrestled with that because there were some people that said, "Oh, well, you need to turn that over because but God he wouldn't release me from it."
No,
right?
no.
And so, believe it or not, there was I was at church and First Lady has been speaking to me because they want me to start doing stuff there.
Good.
And God kept confirming how he hadn't released me from it. And that very same night you sent me that message. And I said to Daphne, I said, "Remember what I told you yesterday about how I got confirmation that God would not, he told me, I've not released you from this."
Not at all.
Then you sent me the message and I said, "Okay, God,
Yes.
I hear you."
Yes.
And so thank you
No.
for confirming what the Lord had said to me.
Yes.
Because it's not, people assume.
Yes.
Chip is amazing.
Yes.
He's wonderful. He loves me well.
Yes.
But my heart is still broken.
Absolutely.
There's a part of my heart that will never be the same.
Absolutely. And you have the capacity to hold both of those realities.
One takes nothing from the
Absolutely.
other. And I thank God that he gave me that reality, but I also thank God that he gave me a man that understands that the space he holds and the space Todd held they don't overlap.
Yes.
They work together.
Yes.
Because I am his wife today because of the wife I was to Todd yesterday.
Look at that.
And had I not gone through all that I went through,
look at that.
I wouldn't be
You
who
wouldn't
I am
be,
today.
yeah, you wouldn't be the Connie that he is married to.
I would not be.
Yeah.
And so I love differently.
Oh my goodness.
And I appreciate him differently, and I don't take him for granted.
Look at that.
And I've taught him things about, because it's not every time when you say, "Oh, let me know when you get someplace."
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Absolutely.
Because I represent a group of women who go to bed a wife and wake up a widow. I mean, it happens just that quickly. Car accidents, all kinds of unthinkable things
Absolutely.
that happen. And so I say to those women that are dealing with this sudden pain, and even if it was a prolonged situation,
Yes.
the reality of that time of death, that supersedes all that you went through prior. It is a pain that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And, and some people, and I know that, there are other deaths, right? There's children and there's parents and there's all the things. But this is your person that you go to sleep to at night and wake up to in the morning.
Yes.
And so I was a daddy's girl to heart. I lost my father when I was 33 years old, but I didn't live with my father.
Look at that.
I had my husband that supported me through my father's death. But when you lose your spouse, and my baby was 6, my son had gone to college, and the nights were so long. And you're just looking around and there's nothing. I remember not even wanting a big house anymore because I felt like, I remember calling up the steps. "What do you want to eat?"
Yeah.
But I don't want 2 levels because I don't want to have to, there's nobody to holler up the steps to. And it's these things and more that people don't quite understand that a widow endures, right? And then especially then you put a child's grief on top of that. I
Yes.
can't tell you the number of times I had to comfort my baby.
I'm
And
sure.
don't but you have no idea what to say. There's
Mm.
nothing worse than having to come home and tell your child that their
Yes.
father's not coming home.
Absolutely.
And so, but the one thing that stuck out and the one thing that I say to widows often is that it won't always hurt like it hurts today. It's going to always hurt. But you will find that every time, it's not even a day thing to me. When people say, oh, it's one day at a time, a day is too long. That's 24 hours. Are you kidding me? 1 second at a time. And then when you get past the second, go to the minute. And then when you get past the minute, you go to the hour. And you look up and you say, okay, it's 1 o'clock. I made it to 2 o'clock. And you're going to fall, right? You're going to fall. There are going to be some days when you won't even get up out the bed. You give yourself 24 hours. And then guess what you got to do? You got to get up because it's a fight. You are literally fighting for your life. If you ever want to see the other side of this, you got to fight your way through because grief is tricky.
Yes.
And it shows up in songs and smells and in any little capacity. And so you have to be able to it's like being in the ocean. Sometimes the waves are so high you can't even process them. And then sometimes it's calm. So when it's calm, ride it out. And try to live. That's the one thing I had to remember to do was live. And if I couldn't do anything else for my late husband, I want to live. I don't want to die in grief. And I asked God, don't let me die here.
Jesus.
Don't let me die here. And I didn't want to die alone. And so I had to get to a place so I could heal, to open up, because God promised me that I wouldn't.
Yes.
But I had work to do.
Yes.
And so it's not going to happen overnight.
Yes.
No two people's journey is the same.
Absolutely.
The journey I took now is not going to be a journey another widow takes.
Yes.
Everybody's journey is different, but the process is very difficult. The important thing is to have the right people around you.
Yeah.
Get you a circle. Get you a journal. I swear by it. I promise you, it will change your life. Nobody ever has to read what you say. Write them a letter. Write in the journal all the things you feel. It has to go somewhere.
Yes.
I had, and you know what that also does? I have journals that I look back on and I say, oh my Lord.
Wow.
I was in a dark place,
Yeah.
Jesus.
And look
But
at
look
how
what
far
the Lord has
yes,
done.
yes.
It lets you see how, because
Yes.
sometimes you can't see your progress,
Absolutely.
right? But if you write that stuff down in that journal and you go back 6 months behind, you say, oh, I am making progress.
Absolutely.
I don't cry every day. I cry every other day.
Oh my
I don't cry every week. I cry every other week.
That's
it's a
so
process.
good. Yes. And you will see those benchmarks right in front of you.
And so stay the course, hang in there. Know that there are people, there are places, there's Premature Widow, there's, you know, and let me tell you something. Confirmation. I'm not going to stop
No, you are not.
until the church
No.
recognizes who we are
Yeah, absolutely.
and
I'm not going to let you stop.
for us.
Yeah, and I'm about to be your PR manager.
Creates a space for us.
Yeah.
Because there's all these churches, and you have
Yes.
people that are, and you will be surprised.
Yes.
If
I'm
I go
sure
to
if
a
we
church,
do this,
yes, and say, are there any widows in the
Yeah.
congregation? Come up and meet Connie.
I
And
bet you
will
they would be shocked.
surprised.
Exactly.
Male and female.
Exactly. As well as pulling their children out of children's church.
At all
Which
of the
is
things.
another
Which
level
is
that we're
another-
not
that we're
thinking
not
that we're
about.
not thinking
I
about.
have people coming up to me, mothers saying, "Oh, are you the young lady? My daughter.
Yes.
She's in a dark place."
Yes, exactly.
Because there's somebody who knows.
Yes.
Or out here, I wish there was something
Yes,
like this for
exactly.
me 20 years ago.
Right,
when I
which
had it.
means that now I'm challenging you to think about a division of Premature Widow that deals with those children.
And yeah.
Okay, family, listen. This is going to be my favorite episode to date and for the future. I don't care what other episode happened. So sorry to all the other future guests, but this is going to reign as my absolute favorite. Can you do me a favor? Can you drop a comment in this episode chat box and let us know how this episode has impacted you. I want to hear from you. I'm sure Connie wants to hear from you. We are going to make sure that all of her information, her organization's information, is in the description of this episode. I want it to be easy for you guys to reach out to her if you or your organization needs her ministry. But again, thank you for coming. Also, shout out to Chip. Shout out to Todd. Just listen, and separate. If you need a good man, I'm going to see if Connie will find a good man, even though you can't find them because you're supposed to be found. So I don't know how to sit and attract the most amazing gentleman to you incorporated. I'm going to try to see if I can get her to mix that up also. But in closing, I do want to say one last thing. Know that you are worthy to be treated well. And I feel like I want to do an episode around worth to start off 2026 because I think that sometimes it's not that God wasn't going to bring it to you. You didn't think it was possible, so you settled.
Right.
And so I want you to know that you're worthy of good things, good people, whether that be romantic relationships, whether that be friendship relationships. And you have to partner with God, meaning that you will not allow your lack of self-concept to stop you at mediocrity when God wants to give you greatness. If you just hold on a little while longer, you can receive God's best. Connie is a living witness that God has a best, and she's received that double time, if not triple, quadruple in her children, her friendships. Connie is a walking example that God does good things. And so I want you to hold out so that you can be a recipient of that as well. This is the Whole You podcast. Remember to like, to share, to comment, to do all the things. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Monday or whatever day you've stumbled upon this episode. We love you, and we're going to see you again soon.